Hello, you guys, it's me. I'm back again, and I'm here in Dubai, as you can see, with all these buildings behind me. This is where people flaunt their wealth, and that is what inspired me to do this video because the greatest wealth transfer is happening now. And so I see people with Lambos and all kinds of fancy cars and fancy this and fancy that and like living in fancy homes and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, you know what? Why not do a video on how to be financially abundant? So this is my video. When I started the breatharian path about 8 years ago, I noticed that there was a disconnect in the community between spiritual abundance and financial abundance. It's almost like you can have one and not the other. So let's talk about manifesting. I mean, I love the word manifesting, but it kind of bugs me because too often I feel like it means like you kind of sit and you just, visualize things coming to you and then you just keep doing that and then that's it. And I feel like to manifest, you have to do both. You have to, change your mindset, change your energy, your vibration, and then you also have to act in the real world because we live in the 3D world. So you need to act in the real world. And I feel like that's where a lot of people don't do that. I mean, they kind of will visualize and do all that, but then the action is kind of where things fall off. So, I mean, not to say people can do it. Maybe if you're great, but a great master, maybe you can sit and just, you know, manifest things and things will come to you. But most people can't do that. So there's a lot of action that we also need to do in order to manifest. So when it comes to health, we do all that. Like we don't trust the mainstream health or anything like that. But then why is it when it comes to finances, I feel that we continue to trust the government? Like we hand our finances over to them, like, oh, Social Security, they'll provide for us a 401k and the retirement plans. And they promise so much, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. Um, and it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. It's all dressed up in a security, like, oh, we're gonna, secure your retirement, but it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. So I don't think it's, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but as you get older, as time goes on, they're not gonna have enough money for the Social Security and all that, to provide the kind of lifestyle that you probably want when you retire. So anyways, so you have to, just like we took charge of our health, we need to do the same thing for money. So we were not taught financial literacy in school. So there was, and it's not by accident. I mean, there's a reason why they don't teach you financial literacy in school. I mean, those are the most important things to live on, is to know how to make money, save money, and invest money. But they don't teach you any of that. We don't listen to the government in terms of when it comes to our health. So we should never not listen to the government when it comes to our finances. So we took our health into our own hands. So I feel like we need to do the same thing with our finances, take the finances into our own hands and not depend on anybody. When it comes to our health, we don't depend on anybody. We do what we need to do. Like we solve our problems. If there's any problem, we figure it out and we solve it. Like I had that kidney issue. I figured it out. We do fasting. We do so many things to help ourselves become healthier. But I think we ignore it when it comes to our finances. We don't do what it needs to take to become financially independent, financially abundant. And I've noticed that in the spiritual community that that is what happens. And so I'm just here to say that we can do both. We can be spiritual and we can also have financial abundance. So for our health, we don't pop pills, we don't go to the doctor, we don't do those things. So why is it for our financial things, why is it that we listen to the mainstream finance, like go to college and get into debt and get a 9 to 5 job and then the government will pay for your pension? Like, why would we do that? Like most degrees are useless and then they give you in debt. So when you start off, you're in debt already. And and you probably can't get a high paying job because most degrees are useless. They don't teach you anything. So unless it's a technical degree, but usually they're pretty useless and they're not teaching you anything. And now there's AI. So AI is snatching people's jobs left, right, and center. So they say the future doesn't need us. We're going to have robo-taxis. We're going to have robots doing our jobs. So a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. So it's trying to get ahead of that before you start losing your jobs. Maybe if you have lost your job, I don't really know the situation, but it's time to get ahead of all that because the greatest wealth transfer is taking place now. So how do we break free and step into financial abundance? Well, first of all, it all starts in your mind. So you have to break free from I don't have enough in that lack mindset. So let go of the poverty kind of mindset. I'm not saying everyone has it, but there's a lot of that going on that in the spiritual community that if money is the root of all evil, and there's a lot of those kinds of thinking that keeps you in that kind of a mindset where you don't have enough money, you're always in lack. We may be spiritually abundant, but financially we're in lack, and it doesn't need to be that way. So that mindset shift needs to happen. Um, so money is just energy, and just like breath and prana, that's all energy. It's just energy. That's all it is. And if you don't have money and you say, I don't really care about money, then that means you're not going to get money, right? Imagine having a partner and saying, I don't really care about my partner. Do you think that partner is going to hang around, stick around very long? No, they're going to go. Just like money, if you say, I don't really care about money, then you're not going to get money. Money's not going to come to you. You have to tell the universe that you care about money, and then money will come to you, right? So you have to care to have money. You can't say, well, I don't really care about money. Then money's never going to come to you. So you have to change that mindset. So nobody became rich without wanting to become rich, unless you were born into wealth. And even people that played the lottery, they're buying the lottery tickets because they want to win the lottery, right? Now, these same people that most people that win the lottery, after a few years, they land up right where they were before they won the lottery. And why is that? I mean, you can win millions of dollars and then you can just, blow it all away and then you're back to square one. So if you don't have that abundance mindset, then whatever money you get is going to leave. So it's just going to come and go. So you need to have that abundance mindset. Okay. And there are some books that I would recommend, The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, to read that, and Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, I know that's a book that was written long ago, but the same principles apply. Okay. So if you want to change your mindset, like go to The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, which changes your mindset and your programming and all that. And then if you want to go to real world action to do, go to Rich Dad Poor Dad it'll kind of give you steps to take. So it's kind of a blueprint to thinking like the wealthy. And I'm going to give you an idea of what it is that Robert Kiyosaki is talking about, to kind of illustrate like a point that he makes. So I'm going to ask you to imagine there are three people, okay? Now we're going to go into their mindset of how a poor person thinks, okay? So now these three people are both, say, all three of them say, are earning $100,000 a year, okay? It's not the amount of money that they're earning, it is the mindset. Okay, so we're going to go into the mindset. Now, this poor person, okay, is earning 100,000. Their mindset. I'm not saying any, I'm not making a judgment. It's just a mindset. Okay, so this poor person's mindset, they can make 100,000. You may think that they're wealthier. I don't know how you think of it, but we just have an example of $100,000. So this poor person's earning $100,000. What do they do with their money? Let's go into their mindset, okay? So their salary comes in every month, okay? And what they do is they spend it on their rent, they spend it on food, they spend it on going out to eat, they spend it on buying new clothes, they go spend it on maybe going on a holiday or whatever. So they basically blow up all their money. So at the end of the month, they have nothing. And then the paycheck comes again next month and they repeat. So same thing happens. It comes in and it goes out. Okay. So they have no savings, no nothing. Okay. It just comes in and goes out. So now that is the poor person's mindset, okay? And now we're going to go into the middle class mindset, okay? So the middle class mindset is, so they have the grocery expense, maybe the rent, maybe they might buy a house because they've saved enough, a little bit extra money. And with that money, what they do is buy a house, and then they'll save a little bit more money, and then they'll buy, so there's some savings, okay? So then they'll buy a car. And then when they have a little bit more savings, they'll buy a bigger house. And then they have a little bit more savings and they'll buy um, a nicer car. And if they have a little bit more savings, then what they'll do is they'll maybe invest a little bit. So each month when the money comes in, they do put a little bit aside and then it goes out. That little bit aside is they think that the house is an asset and a car is an asset. Okay, that's what they think. Okay, and that's a middle class lifestyle. That's what they do. The rich, what they do, they have the same expenses, but what they do is take their money, okay, and they buy assets, okay? So they'll buy income producing assets. And so with that, so they'll buy income producing assets. So for example, maybe they'll buy a stock that gives dividends, or maybe they'll invest it into cryptocurrency, or maybe they'll buy a house which they rent out, and then they get income. So that's income producing, right? So basically, what over time what happens is the rich people don't need to work because they're getting passive income coming in. So what they're doing is investing in assets that produce passive income. So they no longer need to work for their money. Now their money is working for them. Whereas the poor and the middle class, they keep working for their money. Now you have a finite amount of time that if you keep working for your money, you can just make so much money. Now, what the rich do is they basically make their money work for them. So they can go on a holiday, do whatever they want. They don't need to have a job, and the money keeps working for them. You know, you see what I'm saying? So that's what they do. They get assets that produce income, passive flow of income coming to them. So that's what the rich do. So that's a different mindset. So what I'm saying is these three people are all earning $100,000. The poor person, their mindset is, oh, everything just goes, just blow it up. The middle class person, they'll say buy a house and a car, and the house and a car basically is no longer, it's not an asset. You can think of a house as an asset. It's a depreciating asset. So a car depreciates in value, a house depreciates in value. It's not giving you anything if you're living in it, right? But if you are renting it out, then you're getting passive income. So the rich that's what they do, is they invest in things. They can invest in cryptocurrencies because cryptocurrencies also gives you a yield, right? You can be making money, just, buy cryptocurrency and you can earn yield on it. So it's basically the rich mindset is to get money coming in the door every month. So you have two streams of income. You have your job coming in, income, and then you have your passive income coming in. Now, if your passive income is enough, then you can quit your job, right? You don't have to have your job all the time. So that's how the rich become richer, because they keep buying assets. And then there's other things that they do, like, they use leverage and, all that kind of stuff. But we won't get into all that now. So you see the difference? It's not about earning more, it's about where the money goes first. So maybe if you're trying to become rich, then you don't go and blow it on, uh, I don't know, buying clothes or going out to eat or whatever. You save that money and you put it into assets. Now, if it's a little bit amount of money you have, you can put it into maybe a stock and, think about not any stock, but you want to think about maybe AI stock or something, those kinds of things. You can think about cryptocurrencies. You can't buy real estate for a small amount of money, but these are things that you can do to build up your wealth. Uh, and so speaking of cash, the rich do not hoard cash. Why? Because it's like a melting ice cube. Why is cash like a melting ice cube? All governments around the world are printing, printing, and printing, and printing currency. So basically, if you keep printing so much money, then your money is going to get devalued. And if you're saving money, then that money is being devalued. And it's being devalued faster than whatever interest your bank account is going to give you. That's what I'm saying. Holding cash is like holding a melting ice cube. So since the creation of the Federal Reserve in the 1913, you probably guys already know that the dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. So today, that $1 from the 1913 buys only 3 cents worth of goods. So inflation is kind of eating us alive, and inflation is they're printing more and more money. So basically, you're on that hamster wheel going round and around and round and round. And not only are you staying in one place, but you're getting like going down further because of inflation so high. You're not even staying in one place. For those of you old enough, I don't know if you guys watched the Brady Bunch back in the days. If you're very young, you probably don't know what Brady Bunch is, but anyways, Brady Bunch was there back in the days when I was younger, and there was a dad, Mr. Brady. He was an architect, right? And he supported six kids, a wife, a maid, and a dog, right? In this beautiful house on one income. So there's one man working and supporting like six, seven, eight, including himself and the dog people. Okay. So back then, money meant something. I mean, one man could work and support his whole family. But now there's endless money printing. Governments worldwide are printing money like no one's business. So, I mean, your salaries don't keep up with it because even if you get a raise, it's not beating inflation. Inflation's going so high because they're printing so much money. So basically, what I'm trying to say is make your money work for you. Don't work for your money unless you have to. And when you have to, try to save so then you can have your money work for you. So I don't know if you guys know, but money is going digital, right? I mean, governments throughout the world are rolling out central bank digital currencies. In India, the digital rupee is exploding 334%, and Sweden is like 80% cashless society. Your wallets are going to become digital. Everything is becoming digital. Tokenization is going to be huge. They're going to tokenize everything. So it's all going to become digital. How do they make it digital? You need to start looking into cryptocurrencies because that's how they're going to make everything digital. So they're even going to turn real estate and bonds into digital, like tokenize it. So it's going to be part of the blockchain. It's kind of the biggest shift that's happening since the internet. So when the internet happened, people are like, oh, who wants to send an email when you can send a mail? Like, who's going to use this stuff? Back in the days when it first came out, I remember I was like in college and it was like I was sending an email to my sister or something. And I was like, it was kind of fun, but like, who's going to use that? It's kind of like, you didn't really know much about the internet. It was just kind of funny to use the internet. But now look at this. We need the internet for everything, for banking, if you want to, order any food like DoorDash or whatever. You do everything on your phone, right? Everything's on your phone. I mean, we can't live without the internet, right? I mean, we watch movies on the internet. Everything's on the internet, right? And so that's going to be blockchain. Everything's going to be on the blockchain. It's kind of a thing that's coming now, and that's something that you should look into. That money is going to become digital and it's going to go on the blockchain. So that is something that's huge that's happened. No, the rich people are getting into cryptocurrencies. So you don't want to get left behind. I mean, I remember years ago, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I did a video on Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the time was 37, I think it was 37K, $37,000 per Bitcoin. Um, and I'll leave the link of that video that I did years ago in the description box. But yeah, it was like $37,000 for a Bitcoin, and now guess what? It's like $125,000. So that's like tripling your money like in a few years, So, um, and they say Bitcoin's going even higher. So, I mean, I'm not saying to invest in Bitcoin, but I'm just saying look into crypto assets, look into assets, whether it's digital assets or hard real world assets, because the whole world is changing. It's going to become asset based. I mean, because why asset? Because you can't count on money. They're printing the life out of money. So now you need to have assets, hold on to assets, right? Because asset values goes up when your value goes down. But first things first, you can't make money if you owe money, right? Like you need to first pay off your debt. Now, not all debts you have to pay off, but definitely credit card. If you have credit card debts, the interest rates are so high, it's like 20% something interest rate. You have to pay off your debt first. You can't say you have money and you still have debt because that money is not your money. You need to pay your debt off first. So of course, if it's a low interest rate, like if it's like a mortgage or a car, like you bought a car and you got a low interest rate, then you don't have to pay that off. You can maybe invest that somewhere else that makes you a higher return than actually paying off the debt with a very low interest. But definitely credit cards are not something you want. Credit card debt is not something you want. You want to pay that credit card debt off ASAP, like as soon as possible. So bottom line is you do need to save money to invest the money and grow the money. So you do need money to make money, right? So if you don't have any money, then you can't make money. So you need some money to make money. Invest in something like real world assets, okay? It could be stocks, it could be crypto, it can be real estate, whatever it is that works for you, but try to get assets, okay? Now remember, whatever you invest, now, you know what? We have cycles. Like, for example, we'll have, if we have a crash, then you can't panic and get out because you're going to lose money. You know, there's cycles. It goes up and down, up and down. Whatever you're willing to invest, you should be willing to not touch it for 5 years. Okay. So what, say, say you have $1,000, you should be able to put that $1,000 aside and not touch it for 5 years. Because if you need it within that 5 year period, and the stock market goes down or whatever, the economy goes down, then you end up losing it because you're going to take it out when everything's down. And that's kind of not a good thing. So whatever you can invest, you should put it aside for, say, I don't need it for 5 years. And then 5 years later, you can see how your investment's done. If you've done it in crypto, it would have, in the right cryptocurrency, it would have gone up. If you, did in the right stock, it would have gone up. I mean, 5 years is a long time. So, anyways, if you did in real estate, it should have gone up as well. So anyways, assets are going up because they're just printing money. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that we do have crashes. So, they're expecting another crash now by the end of the year. Now, I don't know if that crash is going to happen or not, but it's always good to have some, they say, gunpowder on the side. So it's always good to have some cash on the side. So when the market goes down and nobody has money to buy because everyone's lost their money in the stock market, or when the economy goes down, then you have extra money and you can invest that money. You see? So, for example, say you have some extra money, and then say Bitcoin is at 125,000 right now, and say it crashes tomorrow to say 80,000 or something, or 70,000 or 60,000 or whatever, and you can get a great deal and you can get in and put that cash and buy it, and then it's going to ride back up again. And so that's one way to make money, is to buy it at the bottom and then you ride it back up. And so that's a quick way to make money as well. So it's always good to have money on the side. So I'm not saying to invest all your money, but to invest your money, but always have some money on the side. So when these kinds of things happen, you can, deploy that capital into that asset, whatever that you want to buy. So, okay. So bottom line is, if the market dips, don't freak out. You don't need to sell your stuff. Just hold on, but you'll have extra money on the side to invest. So that's a good time to get into it. Because whatever goes down has to go up. Whatever goes up has to come down. Whatever goes down has to go up. So that's just kind of what the cycles are these days. I mean, whether it's manipulated or not, I'm sure it's all manipulated, but anyways, since it's going to go up and down, be prepared for that. Don't get caught like in that desperate situation where you're like, oh my God, what do I do? So anyways, money is energy. So put your energy where you want it to flow. So you want to put your energy into abundance and financial abundance, and it will flow into financial abundance. We've all know how to heal our body. Now we're going to heal our wallets. We're going to make sure that we have financial abundance. So anyways, the greatest wealth transfer is happening now. So my advice is that as much as you can save, to invest a little bit here and a little bit there, and put your money into assets that will generate money for you. So it all starts in the mind, okay? And now in your mind, you have a millionaire mindset, okay? Now with that millionaire mindset, you should read that book as well, called Millionaire Mindset, okay? That I send. And if you don't have time to read it, you can get an audiobook, okay? But it's important that if you're going to try to generate wealth, that you kind of read these books as well, because it kind of helps shape your mind. So once you have a millionaire mindset, then with that mindset, you change your vibrations, right? And this is all part of the manifesting. You change your vibrations, and then you feel like you are the creator of your wealth, just like you are the creator of your health, right? You feel like you're the creator of your wealth. And now what you can do is start implementing these things, like I told you, those three people, right? The rich, the middle class, and the poor. What are you going to be? What do you do with your money, right? Is your lifestyle like, do you feel like money in, money out, or money in, buy a house and a car and then money out? Or do you say, let me buy some assets, and that'll supplement your income, and soon then you won't need to work? And so anyway, so so anyways, that is what I have to say. If you guys have any questions or anything, please let me know. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you where to put your money. I'm just giving you kind of a guidance. I can't tell you put your money here, put your money there, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying that these are all different things you should look at, and you do what is good for you. You do what sits well for you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I wish you guys health, wealth, and financial abundance. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.